What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode. Strong, well-fed, outspoken. We are on part two for two of our shift working series. So welcome back to the podcast. My name is Rusty, aka Coach Frizzle, aka the Miss Frizzle of Fitness. This is my girlfriend and co-host.
Oh, are we in a relationship now?
Yeah, I know.
Well, sorry guys, I'm taken, but I am Coach Nel. So when you see us together, spoken for.
We are this episode I'm like pretty pumped about because we're talking a little bit more about the training aspect of not just night shift, but shift working in general. So if you didn't listen to part one, it is chock full of honestly, legit, like great info there. From the perspective of nutrition, taking care of our health, what nutrition should look like, how to basically plan your food around shift work. And again, specifically night shift, because I think that that's something that a lot of people do struggle with if you are a night walker.
Night walker, that's good.
Day walker. I actually heard somebody else use that phrase for night shifts in something once, and I forget what his name was, but I always thought that was hilarious. So anyways, no, I can't take the credit for that. But yeah, night shift, night walkers, day walkers, that's for sure what we're going to have to use them as for now. But we're going to dive in here because last episode, we kind of kept you guys here for like an hour. This one's going to be I want to say short and sweet.
Don't make promises.
Really never know with us. So I think, you know what? The first thing I actually really want to say is how many people have heard. Okay, no, let me say this. If I say to you, what's one of the most cringy fitness terms that you hear people throw around? What like comes to mind for you? There's a few, man. There's a few.
Yeah. It depends on the context. In general, like I hate I'm a Pilates princess or that kind of stuff. But I've never heard
that. That's hilarious.
Oh, it's all here right now. Because a lot of women are scared to lift heavy. So we're Pilates princesses. I'm like, don't. We're all gym bros. We're all in this together. But I think for me, it's the labels that people are giving things when they don't necessarily understand it, right? Like hormone balancing.
Okay. The trigger
You know what I mean? Yeah. Not that it's not a thing, but it's being said without context, right? Like, oh, sign up with me. We're going to balance your hormones. Okay, well, what hormones? What balancing, right? You know what I mean? You can't guarantee something like that when it's not specific to a certain human, right? And it's not like you eating this food is not going to solve all the problems, Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Like such a broad term. It's such a trigger word, things like that will get the response from people. It plays off of their fears. I mean, think about it. A lot of the time, right? If you want somebody to do something, that's how you get them to do it. You make them scared about it.
Exactly.
I
don't know that it's the most cringy, but I definitely have a moment.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you though? What's cringing you out right now?
I don't know about right now, but always. Terms that I don't like are the you can't out-train a bad diet. I don't like that because it's so misleading in terms of the context of fitness as a whole, right? Because there's so many other things that go into it. I also don't like the rest when I'm dead.
Oh, you know what? While you're talking, I just thought about one that's so specific to shift work, and that is never miss a Monday.
I'm
sorry. If your shift is Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, you should be sleeping on Monday. It's okay. Your week doesn't have to start then.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But in my opinion, one of the terms I really, really don't like for everyone is we all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Do we? You and I with no children work from home life? Sure.
Yeah, honestly, I have no problem admitting my 24 hours,
blessed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. But at the same time, I will also, right, we work with a lot of people who are in our boat. They don't have kids, whether they're single or in a relationship or whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that we also don't have our own struggles because, again, everyone's 24 hours looks different. That's okay.
Absolutely.
That's why your plan is designed to you. But yeah, I mean, my cousin has 3 boys that are a year and a half, 4 years old and 7 years old. Like, it's insane. His 24 hours looks completely different than my 24 hours, right? And like, yes, we all know, hello, Einstein, thank you. I love all the bros out there being like, yeah, it's 24 hours. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. There's 24
hours. Yeah, the
hours.
sun rises and sets. We know.
We got it. Yeah. But honestly, if you're somebody who says something like we all have the same 24 hours in a day, in my opinion, that is literally the most privileged like sign that you don't have any idea of the differences in people's schedules and what they're going through. Because yes, we all have the same 24 hours, but how you use and how you structure those 24 hours is drastically different. And a great example of that is night shift workers. When you truly understand that, yeah, like, we, depending on how we use and structure the 24 hours in a day, will drastically impact our progress, our results, things like that. Night shift workers in general are a primary example of that, because for a lot of them, they can potentially struggle to make more progress without the right plan, because again, being awake at night when your body wants to be asleep goes against everything natural in your body. It automatically puts you in a bigger state of stress. So giving like a night shift worker the exact same plan as somebody who has a regular 9 to 5 job and sleeps 8 hours from 10 to 6 every day, like, you could have the same people and it would be different results.
Truly, even me personally, I could tell you, I was probably healthier than I am now in certain areas of my life when I worked 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. I put a lot of effort into taking care of myself right now, but I didn't have to try as hard. During that time of my life.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's dive in on that note. Let's dive into shift working and training, kind of looking at things from a different side of health here. So I'm going to say this to start off. There are really like 3 things that you need to know about shift working and training. Okay. So 1, you have to understand that shift work is going to keep your body in a state of stress. It really is. Whether you are a day walker or a night walker, your stress is naturally going to be higher. And this is because, again, your life looks very different based off the day, based off the week, based off the month, based off of the shifts that you are currently following. Your body craves homeostasis. If you're not familiar with what homeostasis is, it is basically, think about it as just like consistency. Your body wants to be doing the same thing every single day. It likes knowing like, oh, I wake up at 7 a.m., right? This is when people talk about, oh, I just have a body clock, because again, your body's gotten into that it's gotten into that routine/habit is what I was trying to say, and flow. So your body.
And we talked about this on our last episode too, when we were talking about like keeping your wake up and go to sleep times as consistent as possible, right? So check that one out. But that's what we're referring to here, the luxury of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Your body likes to know, again, this is where homeostasis in terms of diet, extremely important. Your body likes to know, roughly I eat, 1,800 calories a day. If you're somebody who eats 1,200 calories one day, 2,700 calories the next, 1,900 the next, your body's like, what the heck is going on? It wants the consistency. Your body will feel safe with that consistency. It wants to know exactly what's happening. Think about your body like a giant computer in the sense, or a hard drive, where it's storing the data of your actions all day, every day. So if your body craves homeostasis, you working shifts, whether it's a day shift or a night shift, you working 12 hours, 16 hours, 8 hours, you working overnights, goes against the homeostasis that your body wants, which keeps your body in a constant state of stress. So that's the first one. Number 2 here is every single thing adds up. And we know this in terms of every aspect of our life, right? Every dollar you save adds up. Every rep that you perform adds up. Every pound that you lift adds up. Every single
every
1%
step you take, everything you do.
Everything you do, it all adds up. And this is why, like, Nell and I often will talk about being 1% better, right? People, whether you're brand new to this journey or you've been here for years, a lot of us think we have to do all or nothing, right? We have to go from where we are now and we have to improve by 50%, 100%. We have to completely 180 our life. You don't. You need to be 1% better. because again, that 1% adds up. It's the Halloween candy box analogy, right? I know technically it's the toilet paper analogy, but like using Halloween.
Well, I've never heard either of them, so I believe you either way.
Really? Like,
you better share with us. I haven't.
The toilet paper analogy?
No,
where like
give it to us.
Okay, toilet paper, right? Especially think about like the Costco size one. Like that's a massive roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, we're bulk shoppers. You guys should know this.
Yeah, 100%. I like me a good deal. If you pull one piece of toilet paper off at a time, you pull 20 sheets off, it doesn't actually look like you've made that much of a dent on the toilet paper roll. You pull 50 sheets, not so much. What is there, like 400 sheets in one roll or something? Well, guess what? All of a sudden, you keep pulling one sheet off at a time. It doesn't seem like a lot until all of a sudden you've pulled 200 sheets off, because that 1% adds up. I always say, though, it's like the Halloween candy. I prefer using Halloween candy because it's just more fun.
It's tasty. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love thinking about Halloween candy? But honestly, you get the box, right? September rolls around, October. We always go. Half the time, we don't even give out candy at our place. We go out with trick-or-treating with our nephews, but we always buy the huge box. It's like 400 pieces. When you first get that box, you eat 20 pieces. You're like, I got so much candy left. You eat 100 pieces even. You're like, oh, there's a little bit of a dent, but I have so much left. All of a sudden, you eat 250 pieces of the candy.
Now you have no candy for Halloween.
Yeah.
You're right. Absolutely.
It makes a difference because every 1% adds up. You have
think about this too, guys. Like 1% from a great spot is better. Yeah. If you're at a low point and you're trying to do 100% better, 100% of not great is still not great. But if you get better and better and better, that 1% is so much better than starting and just striving for perfection right at the hop.
Absolutely. It makes such a difference. It really does. So again, it is not all or nothing. As Nel just said, 100% of not great is still not great. I always say, all or nothing looks a lot less like all and a lot more like nothing. So
mic drop. Yeah. We haven't mic dropped in a while. We need a sound. Mic drop.
Yeah, we got to edit that. But yeah, a 30-minute walk better than, no walk at all. A 30-minute workout is better than no workout at all. Doing 2 exercises, 3 exercises is better than not doing any exercises at all, right? Off of your plan. Doing 2 workouts a week. This is a big one. When you're on shift work or when you're on night shift, doing 2 workouts in a week is better than doing no workouts at all. So for a lot of people, they hold themselves back mentally. And you can call it social media. I know social media does play a role, right? You think, I have to be in the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week. No, you do not. Even if you are not working shift, you very rarely need to be in the gym more than...
I'll tell you right now, I'm not. And Rusty will tell you I should film more content, but I'm not even in the gym that many days a week.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, a lot of the people you're seeing, myself included, who are in the gym a lot, like it's also our job. There's a very big difference, right? So keep that in mind. You need to give yourself permission to go to the gym only twice a week and understand that that is still good and worthwhile instead of holding yourself to some belief that, again, it has to be all or nothing.
Yes, 2 times a week happening is 100%.
Yep.
5 times a week not happening at all, garbage stats.
Yeah, honestly though, so
if you need that all, commit to a realistic all.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's another big thing. We're going to talk about that as we get into how to actually plan your training. But if you're following a plan right now that like wants you in the gym 5 days a week, it's not that's unrealistic for you in certain phases of your life, but it might be unrealistic for you certain phases of your schedule and shift. And it's not that you can't follow those plans, period, but we need to periodize them in ways that work for you, which brings us to point number 3, periodization. So a lot of you may or may not have heard of the term periodization.
If you've been listening to us, you probably have.
Yeah. Periodization basically is a way of setting up your workouts to achieve a certain goal. There's so many different ways we can periodize workouts and structures, and that's probably a topic we could do a whole episode on, how to periodize your workouts. But you basically want to structure your workouts so that they're changing over time that ultimately get you to a certain goal. Periodization, I would say, is also more utilized in any strength-based or performance-based sports. It's going to be more effective likely there. But even from a hypertrophy standpoint, right, like we could periodize in the sense that we're looking at volume. So volume for hypertrophy might be like sets and reps lifted over time, days in the gym, total number of workouts, things like that. But if we understand that periodization basically means the program we're following to help us get to a certain goal, we know that we can periodize strength and hypertrophy. You need to understand that when it comes to shift work, you need to actually periodize for your shift work. So this could look like, first of all, depending on whether you're working day shifts, are you working back-to-back shifts? Are you doing like 1 on, 1 off, 3 on, 3 off? How does that work? We want to periodize a plan around that. So a couple common ones, I'll use examples of people that like I'm working with even right now. So I've got one girl who she works day shifts, but her day shifts for like 1 week will be like 18-hour days for 4 days. Realistically, in that time frame, if she's working 4 days, we're not aiming to work out at all over those 4 days. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have her on a split where 1 week she's doing 2 full body workouts. And then the next week, her less busy weeks, she works 2 shifts, 2 8-hour shifts. Very interesting schedule. So on those weeks, we have her in the gym 4 days that week. So 1 week, 2 full body workouts, and the other week we do 4 workouts. We have periodized her workouts around her actual shift. For another one of my girls, she does 3 18-hour days, then a 12-hour day, and then she's off for 3 days in a row. We plan for her to work out during the 3 days off in a row that she works out, with an optional 4th day for the 12-hour day, depending on how she's feeling. And that is a very optional one. And it is also periodized in itself, in the sense that on those 3 days that she's off, we're pushing volume a little bit more on those days. We're pushing intensity a little bit more. And on the day that we are working out, possibly while she's still working, we're getting in the gym, we're moving, but sets are pulled back, reps are pulled back, overall workload is pulled back.
Yes, because remember, we're looking at the body being under higher stresses when you're working, especially on night shift. Yeah. And like Rusty's talking kind of week to week, that doesn't always work for some. So another option is to look at it kind of like in a monthly cycle, right? So like in my house, I get to be here with you guys, but the shift that we kind of build our life around is 2 days, 3 nights, 3 days off. Yep. And it alternates. So it's not always a Monday to Friday. And so we do exactly what Rusty's saying here, but we look at it kind of in a month to month cycle. So those workouts kind of rotate through within the month, or within those, like, working out on your days is fine, but on those night shifts, we're prioritizing that recovery and sleep and, reducing stress load.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in that case, with that shift, is that a shift that is pretty much just constant? Like it's
constant,
just
never changes. So like I'm talking 365.
Okay. So that's kind of nice, because in that case, at least this is what it looks like. Yes. So that's how we build it out around that.
And it's always 12, right? So 12 hours, day or night. Okay. So that helps too.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know for some of you listening, you might literally also swap between day and night shifts, right?
Yeah. Swing shift is super common.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me. Again, I've never worked night shift myself. We talked about this in the last episode, but it's amazing how, I don't know, you guys do this. Honestly. Oh man, so much respect for that. So yes, exactly. Periodization could look different on a day-to-day, on a week-to-week, on a schedule-to-schedule, or on a month-to-month basis. But the point is, we do want to periodize not just your workouts, but periodize the schedule in which you are setting up your workouts. And even the phases of life that you're in. A great analogy is, honestly, think about athletes. Look at basketball players, okay? Basketball season is about to wrap up here, so they're going to go into their off season. An athlete will, like a basketball player, a professional basketball player, during their off season where they're not playing games, they will spend more time in the gym. They will be in the gym more. They will be lifting more regularly. They will be following a more intense resistance training program, because again, they are balancing out. Basketball is their job, right? Yeah. So technically their games, their workload is way down. So now their time in the gym is going up. But during their actual on season, they are performing for their job, they're on shift way more often. Their time in the actual gym is coming down. It's just enough to kind of keep maintenance, to keep things going, but they are not likely in the gym anywhere close to as what they are in the off season. Same idea here. It's basically what we want to look at. So those are 3 things that we really want to understand and kind of make like just the groundwork, the base of how we approach our mindset from our shift work from our mindset perspective in terms of how we're planning our workouts, and also how we are understanding what is going in our body or going on in our body, excuse me. Now let's talk about the plan.
How does this actually come to fruition?
So how do we, kind of look at setting things up? So 2 things I really want to talk to you guys about is like the when should you work out if you're on shift work, especially from night shift perspective.
Rusty was like, hey, you ready to podcast? I was like, I'm just wrapping up. And I was literally just having this conversation with someone.
With somebody? Hilarious. Get the brain juices flowing, man.
They're like, hey, I'm switching to nights. I'm like, get ready.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I got a podcast for you, baby. So when you should lift, and also like what, generally speaking, because again, we're not talking to each of you listening to this individually. So generally what we tend to really recommend here. So starting off with when, okay. First thing I want to say is, bitch, do not dare work out on the way home after night shift. This is not.
Do you enjoy sleep at all? Apparently not.
No. And like, listen, I get it. Some of you, right? Like you just finished your night shift. You think about it from the perspective of like, oh, well, if I was getting off work at 5 p.m., I'd go and work out. But you're not getting off work at 5 p.m. This is what you have to understand. You are not doing anything like, for lack of better term, normal. So you do not take the same course of action as your bestie that works 9 to 5. It just doesn't happen. Coming home after night shift, you need to go to bed. I don't want to see you going to, an Orange Theory class. I don't want you going to the gym and banging out a bunch of weights, anything like that. When you do that, okay, what's happening is you're stimulating your central nervous system. Your body is already in a state of stress. You are stressing it out more now by going to work.
Think about your worst day. You're stressed. Everything has gone wrong.
Yep.
And then your kid throws up in your mouth. I don't know. Like it just gets worse, right? So think about it as that's what's happening in your body. Everything is stressed. Adding more stress, not the best answer.
Yeah. No, we do not want to compound the stress. And again, you guys, working out is a good stress when done in the right context. And I would say this.
Your central nervous system should calm you down pre-bed, right?
Yep, absolutely. Our central nervous system should have periods, even period. This is why when we talk about people who live in a constant state of stress, it's so detrimental because your central nervous system is never coming back down and regulating itself. It's just always elevated.
If we think about it, a regulated, chilled out central nervous system, rest and digest. These are good things. Up here, stressed out, fight, flight, freeze.
Yep.
Right? That's not going to help you achieve your goals.
Period. So when you are coming off night shift, you are already in a state of stress. Yes, working out is a good stress, but it's only a good stress when applied in the right manner. Going to the gym and spiking, your central nervous system is just not good. Stimulating your central nervous system is not good. Not to mention, as Nel kind of said right at the beginning here, is do you want to sleep at all? Because
we've already reduced that window. Your availability for sleep already limited.
Yes. And then you are stimulating your central nervous system. You're elevating your stress. You're going home. And now you think you're going to crawl into bed and try and sleep. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not to
mention that a lot of you out there working shift work are already in high stress jobs.
Yep. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. That's another huge thing. We're not just talking about the stress from the fact that you are awake when your body wants to sleep, or you're not on a regular, shift. You just worked 18 hours, even if it was from, 9 till, I don't know, whatever 18 hours is after 9 a.m. The jobs themselves are stressful, right? Paramedics, firefighters, police officers, nurses, like these are high stress jobs. You need to give yourself some love and allow yourself to calm down.
There is one down. What are we, Taylor Swift?
I know. Yeah. No. One thing I will say here, there is an amendment to this, is that if you're going to do anything after your shift, some low intensity, steady state cardio can be beneficial. And this can be beneficial because some low intensity, keyword low intensity, steady state cardio can actually help burn stress out of your system. And this is true, period. Again, like think about it, right? If you guys are working a 9 to 5 and you come home and you're just in a state of stress, you go hop on your walking pad, you do low intensity, steady state cardio, we tend to feel better afterwards. There is something linked here where it will actually help burn stress out of your body. So if you're coming off of night shift, and you want to go to the gym, you do a 30-minute, let's say, walk. There's some parameters here for low intensity, steady state. Now, if you guys are not familiar, do you want to break this down now? What low intensity, steady state cardio is?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so low intensity, if we think about it in terms of like your ability or even just having a conversation, low intensity is like we're having a nice conversation. You're not working substantially harder than if you were sitting on the couch, where you should be able to have a conversation with someone. Right now, we can actually look at your heart rate zone. So we're like, what, under 65-ish? Is that right?
Yeah. Pretty much. No, 65% is like bang on zone 1.
Yeah. So, but if you're like, I don't know what that is, I'm not going to wear a device or track my heart rate, you should be able to like comfortably have a conversation in zone 1 cardio.
Yeah, totally. Having a conversation, honestly, zone 1 cardio, where our heart rate's at about 65%, you shouldn't really be sweating. Because this is just about movement. It's about blood flow. It's not about, getting the heart like really, really pumping here. A great thing, actually, if you want to get an idea of what your heart rate's at, and like Nell said, you don't want to wear some fancy device. So to figure out 65% of your heart rate, which is where we want you to be for low intensity, steady state, you take 220 and you minus your age. So let me pull up my calculator. Okay, you guys, calm down. I'm not going to be great with math. So 220.
Yeah, we're not mathematicians here.
Yeah,
we've proven that already.
Thank you. So I'm 34 years old. 220 minus 34 is 186. So now, because we're aiming for 65%, you're going to take whatever number you get and literally multiply it by 0.65. Which comes out for me to 120.9, so 121. So 65% of my max heart rate would be 121 beats per minute.
And that's per minute. So if you're not sure, right, it's a 60-second cycle. Your heart should be beating that many times.
Yep. So 65% max heart rate, you should hardly be sweating, if at all, and you could be comfortably holding a conversation is what we're looking for. This is something that you could do on the way home. Now, I don't want you going on the way home and doing it for 2 hours. We're talking, like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. This could be something that you can do.
Yeah, it's almost like that wind down routine. Really, is kind of what you're implementing here through gentle movement.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Remember as well, right? We're talking about aerobic versus anaerobic. So low intensity, steady state would be a more aerobic style training. And this is, honestly, for lack of a better term, more optimal for managing your stress because it's not going to overly fatigue you, like we just talked about. It's not going to push your heart rate too high, but it is also still going to train your heart, which is massively beneficial for even your heart's ability to manage stress.
And if we're talking about heart health, night shift packs a punch on heart health, right? It puts you at a lot of risk. We'll talk about this later, of higher risks of cardiovascular issues. So this is a good way to make sure that you're taking care of your heart as best you can.
Absolutely. Whereas again, right, when we're talking about HIIT, this is more anaerobic training. It is more taxing, especially if you are already in a stressed environment, which you are because you work shift work, baby. So when do you do your workout? In my opinion, you're coming off of night shift. Okay. I want you to, if anything, like we said, you could do a little bit of low intensity steady state, but otherwise we want you going home. Again, we talked about this in full in the last episode, but basically you're going home, you've created an environment, you have your sleep routine down, you are sleeping. When you wake up, okay, we're getting sunlight on face, neck, chest. We're maybe going for a walk to help wake the body up. We're getting a meal in, then we're going to go work out. That is the ideal. Before your next shift starts, but not ideally as well, like right before your next shift start, or you can, but just make sure you're definitely having a meal, before.
Yeah, like I would say wake up, eat your breakfast meal, get your workout in, and then you should have enough time to eat another meal before you go to work.
Yes.
In a perfect world.
Yep, absolutely. So now let's talk about what? And again, we can't give you guys super specifics here because, as always, what you do is really going to depend on your level of fitness. It's also going to depend on, what it is you're training for. Because on one hand, we've got shift workers who, don't necessarily need their training to reflect their job. But then we've also got shift workers who are literally training because they have to keep up with certain things for their job. And Nell actually has a ton of experience with this.
Yeah, I was actually saying to Rusty when we were talking about this episode that I was going to let her take the lead on this part of the episode, because a lot of the shift workers that I train are with me because of certain fitness standards within their job. And so it's that balance between prioritizing that because of their job that requires shift work, but also like, how can we fit it in with all of the other needs that come with shift work? And again, that comes down to, what is your fitness standard, or what is your, I shouldn't say standard, ability?
Yeah.
If you come to me and you're like, I work 17 days a week. Now I know there's no 17 days a week. Okay, guys, I'm being exaggerated.
All the time.
And I work 13-hour shifts, like, let's be insane here. And I want to run a marathon, but I've never run in my life. I'm going to go, okay, whoa, that's not going to work here. But if you come to me and you go, these are the shifts I've been working for a decade. This is the job that I'm in. This is the fitness standard that I'm currently trying to hit. And here's where I've been working. Then we can build from there. And that's a big difference.
Absolutely. So that's one consideration.
For the general public, what are we going to do here?
So that's one consideration. But for most people, honestly, I'm a huge fan of three-day-a-week programming. Now, Nell and I also, you guys, about, I think 3 episodes back, we did a full podcast episode on full body training, and how this, for even people that don't work shift work, can be one of the best splits to follow, period. Okay, for a lot of different reasons. So if you want to learn a little bit more about full body training, why it's so effective, how to kind of design or develop your own 3-day system, go listen to that episode. It's like 3 or 4 episodes back. Actually, we'll link it in the show notes below. But 3-day-a-week sessions are great for many reasons. And I mean, you could make these full body days, right? Each session a full body day, or depending, right? You could make it 2 lower body, 1 upper, depending on what your focus is. You could do the opposite, 2 upper, 1 lower.
Or even partner, right? Like lower with chest or lower with back, right? And then maybe a total body that focuses on accessory, right? Like there's lots of ways to split that up to suit your personality, your needs, whatever.
Yeah, you could also do a push-pull full day. Now, a lot of people think about push-pull in terms of upper body only, but no, it could be a push, including leg movements, right? Everything that is push designed, a pull, which again includes leg movements, and then full.
Yeah, push-pull just means the direction you're moving from the body, from this midline. Right.
Exactly. So when we're talking about push, it's basically, we could also say anterior day. So everything in the front of the body, posterior day, everything at the back, and then a full body day. But lots of different ways you can structure a full body routine here. And it's going to be really nice and beneficial because it's going to allow you to disperse your volume throughout the week. Again, when we talk about periodization, we can also disperse our volume based off of how we are periodizing our workout. So another term for this would be like undulating. When we talk about undulating your workout plan, it's basically how we are splitting up reps and things like that. So for example, 1 whole body day, we could be training everything in a 6 to 8 rep range. Then on our second day, we could maybe do an 8 to 10 rep range. Then on our third day, we could do like a 10 to 12 rep range. This is honestly not just going to be physically stimulating, but very mentally stimulating as well, because it kind of feels like you're doing something new each day, which can be really beneficial and motivating for a lot of people. But another way we can disperse volume, right, is, so let's say you've got 60 sets planned for the week. Maybe 2 of those sessions, are going to be somewhat closer to your shift work, or on days that are a little bit more, longer or a little bit more intense. So maybe for 2 of your workouts, you're doing 15 sets in each of those sessions. And then, your third session, you're off, you likely have gotten good sleep, you've had good food. So you actually plan to have a 30 set session that day. That's another way that you could split things up. And again, it feels different, but also it's periodized to your schedule and what works for you.
Yeah, I do this a lot too. Like, these are your heavy lift days when you're on days off, you're recovered. These are your light, you're still lifting, you're still primarily even doing the same movements, but you're reducing that workload. Or I'll even do light, heavy, medium within the same workout, right?
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
Rusty said, it's mentally stimulating too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 3 days, it also allows for life to happen, and it allows you more time to move your days around if you need to, right? If you're tired, if you're extra fatigued, if you got called in for an extra shift. As we kind of said before, there's nothing wrong with like 4 or 5 day splits if it actually fits for your life. If you sign up for something that constantly keeps you stuck in, I'm just never able to complete this, I'm going to tell you what happens.
Skipping the same body part every time. You're doing
Yep.
yourself a disservice, right?
It really is. And even just from a mental perspective, because a lot of people will start off with a plan that is like 5 days a week, and they'll be motivated. They're making it work with their shift work. The first month goes by, and then guess what? They start to get really fatigued. It doesn't feel as realistic anymore. So they miss a couple sessions. And then guess what happens? They mentally start to feel less motivated because now they've missed a couple of sessions. They're not feeling so great. They're kind of probably mentally beating themselves up a little bit. Then they get caught in that kind of negative feedback loop. And what tends to happen when one thing starts to slip, in this case training, then our nutrition starts to slip. We figure, oh, well, you know what, I didn't really make it to the gym this week, so I'm gonna just like go easy on my diet as well. And then everything starts to slip, and then you get into this practice of just feeling like, what happened? I've completely fallen off.
True.
And it all started because you literally signed up for something that was never going to
bit off more than you could chew. Truly.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in the last episode, the like social jet lag or social fatigue that comes into play with night shift as well. If you're spending all of your downtime trying to get to the gym, it doesn't leave room for the things that rejuvenate you, that fill up your cup, that make you feel socially charged, right? Because it's important to have hobbies and relationships and all of these things. And the time to have those is reduced. So looking at your schedule realistically and fitting in some workouts that aren't going to rule your life are going to be huge.
Huge. I'm laughing here because you're like, it's important to have hobbies and like a personality. I'm like,
what hobby? We read books.
Like, no person. No, I do like books. But
and you got your girls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I definitely do other things, but I just.
No, but it's true. I do catch myself feeling a little hypocritical because these are all important things, and I worked 72 hours this week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Believe me, there are definitely times I'm talking to my clients, and I'm like, "You need more sleep," and I'm like, "Oh, I need more sleep." It's one of those things. But yeah. A week, fantastic. It also allows you to add more, right? Not only are we starting from a point that's realistic, but now we've got a handle on your shift work, we've got a handle on your workouts, things feel good, right? It's the flip side of what we just talked about when things start to slip. When you start off with a program where you're like, wow, I'm actually doing this, I'm able to get my 3 days in each week, I'm still getting good recovery, I'm more locked in. It also then translates into you wanting to lock in more with your nutrition. Results start happening. You get into the positive momentum swing. And then again, we're in a position where maybe, 1% better, 1% more. So that's a really, really big difference. You guys have to remember that for effective training, for good effective training that brings you results, we also need good stress management, and we need good recovery, and we need good food, all of which are going to be impacted by your sleep. So first and foremost, again, go back and listen to last week's episode. But if you are not sleeping well first, that is the first thing you have to focus on, your rest and recovery. We need more rest. We need more recovery because, again, of the amount of stress or the state of stress that you are in. And this is not like I'm resting more, so now I'm going to do more in the gym type of situation. No. This is a rest more, do less type of situation.
And when we say rest, we're not talking like couch potato, open the chips. We're talking about allowing your body to do what it does best. And when I first started training, someone said this to me, it was really helpful. We look at a hierarchy of needs. It's like a pyramid, right? The base is the most important. It's the biggest. And that is your rest and recovery. And then we move into our nutrition, how we're feeling our body. Then we look into our daily activity, our movements, then our workouts, then maybe at the tippy top supplementation, right?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So that kind of breaks down, the when and the what side of training, both of which are super, super important. But there are definitely a few other things that like we encourage you guys to monitor, because when we're talking about health, again, it is more than just nutrition. It's more than just your workouts, and it is more than just your sleep. There's the mental side, digestion side, so a few other things, that you guys can be monitoring here.
And so when we were doing this, we kind of broke it down into like different areas of things to monitor. So the biggest one is well, at least in my opinion, some of the most noticeable ones for me early on when I was working shift work were like the mental side of things, how I was showing up in the world. So monitor your things like how you're feeling. Are you increasing like just levels of anxiety, nervousness, feeling on edge? Are you like increases in anger? Are you irritable, quick to react? Are you falling into like longer depressive episodes, or are you just like completely spaced out? Like, do you have moments, and like this is a little bit more on the extreme side, but like, do you look at the clock and not know where an hour went? And you just can't account for those things. So monitoring your mental health in those ways.
Yeah. It's so huge. Again, guys, your physical progress will follow your physiological health, right? So if stuff internal, and that also includes mental, because your body follows where your mind goes. If your mind is not checked in, your body is going to be checked out. So definitely all really, really big signs. And the mental side is usually a lot easier for us to start to notice right away, versus again, like blood work and things can be hard to monitor, but you do know how you feel. You do know if your anxiety is spiking, if you are mentally checking out. Why can't I focus when people are talking to me? Where did this hour just go? These are things.
Yeah, did I snap at my kids? Like, you're going to know, or someone might be able to point these out for you early on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why am I crying?
Yeah. And like a lot of people feel fear, again, they notice it, but they don't want to actually spend the time checking in because they're nervous about it. But guess what? That's not going to go away until you do check in. And this is the way your body communicates with you. Your body can't say like, hey, I don't feel good today. So it is going to send you all these other signs. So pay attention, because it loves you enough to be giving you these signs. Love it enough to listen to it when it's talking to you.
Yeah, I used to be a toxic positivity person. I still am very much a positive person in general. But now instead of like, yay, all the time, it's feel your damn feelings. Feel your feelings, and then figure out why you're feeling that, so that then you can find the joy in moving forward.
Yep. Allow those feelings to happen. So important.
So then we touched on this a little bit in our last episode when we were talking about nutrition, but night shift can take a huge impact on your body, and it puts you at a really high risk for a lot of issues. So a few things you can start to monitor in terms of like what the feelings in your stomach, gastrointestinally, things to look for an increase that might be a warning sign of something else that could potentially get worse in the future. Are you struggling with heartburn all the time? Are you gassy? Do you have increased farts, flatulence?
Yeah.
Right? Because we talked a lot about digestion and the impact it has, or the impact night shift has on it. Are your bowel movements changing? Have you had a decrease or an increase? Color, texture, like don't be shy. Take a peek. No one else is in the bathroom with you. And then, right? And then skin health. Our skin tells us a lot about what's going on internally. So have you started to get rashes, eczema, acne, right? Things like this.
Yep. It is crazy actually how much acne can be a reflection of digestive health, internal health, things like that. So that is honestly such a big and important one there alone.
Right. And then again, we get into like a little bit more of the more in-depth stuff. Like, you got to go get this checked out, like ulcers, IBS, the more extreme cases, right?
Yep.
And then I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but metabolic disturbances and changes. So like, are your kidneys doing what they're supposed to be doing? Is your liver functioning properly? These, you probably need to do some blood work and stuff, but like, is your urine the right
Yes.
color? You know,
Yeah,
monitoring for things like that.
yeah.
You should not have blood in your urine.
Yeah, for sure. But even just like on a, less drastic, basis, guys, if your urine is always neon yellow,
Yes.
one, you need to hydrate. Check, make sure you're hydrating. Two, did you start a new multivitamin? Because that's also very
Yes.
common if you have. But yeah, three, otherwise, like if you are like, hey, I'm drinking 3 liters, 100 ounces of water, like at least every day, and I didn't start a new multivitamin and I'm always like, something's off, or like it smells. I know
Or
this
even like your skin is a little bit yellow. This is real talk. If you're listening, shout out to you. I was coaching someone and she ended up with jaundice.
Yeah,
and like it was like, okay, the hospital you go, right? But that was a kidney liver issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, that last one is a little bit more in depth, but that is also your reminder, guys, that if you're not doing regular blood work, like once a year, you need to be doing regular blood work. You either need to find a new doctor that will actually monitor that stuff. Do not hesitate to advocate for yourself.
And if they say no, tell them to document in their file. They'll probably change their answer.
Yes, I talk about this with all of my people. If they say no, make sure that you say, I want this documented in my file that I requested blood work and you said no, because a lot of them will change their answer. But if you really have a stick in the mud, a lot of coaches, us included, we do have other ways that we can get private blood work done. So that's also kind of a benefit of working with someone. But yeah, get your blood work done once a year, full blood panel, not just a few random markers and one thyroid number, like full kidneys, liver, every thyroid marker, CRP, everything. So, yeah, some great things in there to remember, because again, health is all encompassing here.
True. And the blood work is going to show more specific than any of the little things we're mentioning here, but a couple of other things to think on, because we did talk a little bit about like steady state, low cardio, is your cardiovascular health. Night shift puts you at a huge increased risk of all cardiovascular diseases. So monitor your blood pressure. I ask every single shift worker I work with to monitor their blood pressure.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Because time and time again, in very young, otherwise visibly healthy people, I have seen blood pressure increase working night shift. And so not necessarily that it's like concerning to see it be a little bit outside of normal parameters, but has it changed drastically, right?
Sure. When would you, like in your mind, what if you're working shift work or night shift, when would be the ideal time then for somebody to be monitoring their blood pressure?
Ooh, good question. I would like, in a perfect world, to have them check it when they wake up and they're like not stressed, but then also compare it to when they're coming off of night shift.
Okay.
Like if you can check it a couple of times to get some baseline markers, that would probably be ideal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm the same. When I get people to do blood pressure, I definitely like in the morning.
Yeah. Like
coming off shift,
pre-stress, no caffeine, that would be perfect, right?
Yes. Yeah. Kind of like when we weigh ourselves first thing in the morning, no water. We just want to see body's natural state.
Yeah.
But then absolutely. Yeah. Like something like night shift or post shift. What is it actually? How is your body responding? Because that can be a huge sign of progress too. If you're somebody who, post shift, night shift or not, your blood pressure is a certain point, and then you change your diet, you change your workouts, and all of a sudden post shift again, your blood pressure has gotten so much better. That's a great sign of progress right there.
Yes, hugely so. But if you've never taken your blood pressure before and you're like, well, how would I know? Are you feeling short of breath doing just everyday activities?
Yeah, the simple things.
Like suddenly you're short of breath getting out of bed. Yeah. Or, just throwing a load of laundry in, drying your hair. Those are activities where you should not necessarily be feeling that.
Yeah.
And you are all of a sudden, that's a pretty good indicator that you should start monitoring some other parts of your health and making some changes. And then again, doing like along those lines, are you wheezy, snoring? Have you started snoring a lot more, right? Because your sleep is already suffering. Are you constantly yawning? One of my favorite facts about a yawn is like, that's not that you're tired. It's that your body doesn't have enough oxygen sometimes.
Yes,
right?
Yes. I know it's funny how we perceive the yawning as like, oh, I need caffeine or something. But it's like, no, your body's literally trying to get, more air in, more oxygen.
Right. And then like, lastly, look at your lifestyle. Are you relying on substances, stimulants to help you stay awake, things that you think are helping you unwind, like alcohol or other substances like that, if you are increasing your usage of those, it's probably time to do a little soul searching, dive in a little bit deeper, because this is super common, right? Like you come home, you can't wind down, so you maybe have a drink. You're not getting quality sleep, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is when it's time to get real with ourselves, you guys, and say, am I actually doing everything in my power? Or, not even just, am I doing everything in my power, but am I just actually making the best choices? If I say I want to improve my health, if I say about, I care about making sure I'm staying as healthy as possible. Okay, you're saying that, but are your actions actually aligning with it? So,
and when I say substances, I don't even necessarily mean things that are viewed negative. Like if you're popping 18 melatonin gummies to fall asleep, still maybe a little bit of a pause and let's do some soul searching on that one.
For sure. But so there is our second episode, 2 for 2 here on shift work. Hopefully this was something that you guys, if you are working shift, you could take away from this. If you're in a position right now where you're like, you know what, I need some help. I need to improve my health. I just started, shift work, or I'm on a different shift, or I just am struggling to.
Yeah, I've been working shift work for 10 years and I didn't even realize I felt bad.
Yeah, exactly. And for a lot of people, they feel like I need support. I need guidance in some way. There is a link below that you guys can fill out to talk to us about working one-on-one with us, so we can come up with a plan that actually works for you and supports where you are, your stress levels, your job, your lifestyle. Basically a plan that actually looks and feels like you.
Heart around you.
Yeah. Hit that button below, fill out our coaching form, and we would definitely get in touch and chat some more. Or likewise, if this was just really informative, you have a friend that works shift work, please share it. That helps us out huge. Also consider leaving us a 5-star review. Again, that is massively beneficial for us here. Otherwise, in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, you can find us on Instagram. You can find, us on Instagram, Facebook.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere, literally everywhere. I'm under coach.frizzle, and Nel is
coach.alana.nel. And if you don't know how to spell my name, it's in the bio.
It's in the bio. No excuses. It's in the bio. We will also be doing our next Q&A podcast episode very soon. So again, we post a box on our social. I
love our Q&A.
I know, they're so fun. We get some crazy questions. There's no wrong questions here. So
I would almost say, ask us your wildest question.
Yes.
And maybe I'm going to regret that, but
do it anyways. Yeah. But if you're not on Instagram, right, totally understandable. Drop your question for our next Q&A in the comment box below, and we will check them and we will put them, we'll put them in our list to answer during a Q&A episode. But again, hopefully this was useful for you guys. Remember that there is always an option out there that will work for you. It is not hopeless if that's what you are currently feeling. So in the meantime, have an absolutely phenomenal day, cousins, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.